Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're getting ready to go into MNM versus Enclave. This is the second game of the day, and this is a bloody important one. If MNM win, then we will be having tiebreakers. That is just guaranteed. There is no way about it. If Enclave win, there's only 2 scenarios left where we'll have tiebreakers. This game could give us more games to watch or not. It's that close, and even if Enclave win, there's still those 2 scenarios where there are tiebreakers to be played. So we'll have to see exactly how this is going to go down, but it's going to be a doozy, Jamada. It's going to be an absolute doozy.
Yes, I am very, very excited to see how this one's going to play out. I think Enclave, they've probably rolled objectively the hardest game they could have rolled coming into the final game of the day, of the split for them, especially in a position where, yes, there are positions where they can lose, and in a fair amount of them too, and they will still make it into playoffs, right? However, you don't want to have that overbearing fear of watching the final 2 games of the day to see who wins.
Yeah.
Wait and see who you're playing against in tiebreakers to see if those specific situations play out where you don't make it in, because those do exist where they will lose or they can lose, and I believe it's
I think there's also 2 scenarios. So if Enclave win, there's 2 scenarios of tiebreakers. If Enclave lose, there's 2 scenarios of Enclave actually making it to playoffs. So it's either way, the deck is going to be pretty stacked against them, and they've got to make this work, because they are unfortunately playing the top seed team in the league and the only team in the playoff run who've actually got a spot locked in, and that is first for MNM. So it's going to be a hard one. Now, Viego going to be the first pick up here for Aragon. Well, I mean, flexible for Gad and Vango as well, so it can get moved around a little bit here. An instant lock-in of the Diana set. I am so happy to see that from Enclave. It is such a disgustingly strong combo and a heavily underrated combo here in the UKLC. So nice little lock-in on the side of Enclave, and MNM firing out quickly with the Tristana and the Renekton. Okay. These teams came prepped. They came prepared for this game.
Yeah, yes, they have indeed. And of course, right now, MNM, they haven't locked in the AP champion. I think this Viego likely to be Gdanicas. Yes, we can see it flexed around, but I think Aragon Renekton, probably his strongest champion. We've seen Vango pilot the Tristana as well as Joppa, but I think in this kind of situation where you've got what should be your top side locked in, we're still waiting for Vango to lock in a mid lane champ here as well. So yeah, looking over to Enclave, they've got the set Diana. Final lock in here is actually going to be Malphite, so they're going to try and neutralize the top side. You're already dealing with 3 champions that do AD, so you can ban away things like the Silas, other things which can have a nice time into set in the mid lane. Though this set, again, when it comes to Enclave, set can actually be rightly set, but when you've got the Diana, I'm expecting this one to actually be Sykes's for a change. And now over to MNM, I think you probably just remove Impulse's champion pool, anything you don't really want to have to deal with, unless maybe you want to remove away Rykley's champion pool, but set being there might just force MNM into the AD bans, but instead they're going to remove away Malzahar. So maybe they are just saying, all right, we're not going to take this bait. We think this set is going to be Rykley's. We don't think Sykes is going to play it. So we're just going to remove away anything that Sykes is super comfortable on. And if that is going to be the pattern, I would expect to maybe see this followed up with a Seraphine ban.
There's a wombo combo there. There is one hell of a wombo combo. You've got the Unstoppable Force. You've got the set and Diana. That's a wombo. Banning away the LeBlanc and the Silas. So pretty aggressive mid laners, people who can take over the lane. Pretty decent ban on that front. We'll see what MNM are going to look as their final ban here, just in case, that set could be flexed around. So it could be another mid laner. Set's still technically capable of playing support. The Braum is going to get banned away, so they do look just to kind of pinch into that support pool, but we're seeing probably a handshake of the Leon and Nautilus. Yeah. And the question is what are Enclave going to either prioritize? Is it going to be an AD carry, or is it going to be some kind of a support? And actually, screw Leon and Nautilus, they're going for the Tahm Kench.
All right, so I wonder if this is going to potentially make MNM go into something a little more scaly, like the Karma or the Lulu. I can't remember the last time that Clocks did anything like that. I think he has been truly on engage duty, because MNM, as a team, characteristically, they will just draft for the mid to early game.
Yeah.
2 item spike champions, 3 at the most, and then they will just look to hammer home wins. They don't care about the Tahm Kench. They are still going to lock in the engage of Nautilus, kind of expected the Clocks. And I think this is going to be Tristana going towards Joppa. So looking towards Vango and saying, okay, what are you going to lock in? Because your early AP aggressive options have been removed away in Silas and the Blanc. What more do you have in the lockup? Because Vango has shown off a relatively versatile champion pool. We could see something like Syndra here, but I think it's pretty whatever in this meta at the moment. Still needs those next set of buffs to come through.
Yeah.
Cassio's being hovered. And honestly, if it gets locked in, I wouldn't mind it, because I think Cassio is such a strong champion into what is effectively 4 melee champions that all want to walk forward into you. You're
well, the
always going to have a
miasma in
target
itself,
to pick on. Yeah.
the miasma in itself is such a powerful tool into Enclave's comp. Really, really nice little lock in there, and another short range champion being fought here about Enclave. This Cassiopeia could genuinely turn
value.
Honestly, yeah, I was like, right, Enclave are kind of getting away with everything here. They have a support who's going to be an appeal for the squishy members, the Diana and the Kaiser. Obviously, Kaiser wasn't locked in, but they had someone who's to appeal for your squishy and members for your team, and then you have just this disgusting engage. But now you got that miasma. It's a fairly lengthy range on the miasma, which is going to stop Skumon from being able to Lunar Rush to follow up on Slikes. They're going to be heavily reliant on flanks now to kind of find good opportunities, or kind of baiting out the miasma, waiting for it to go, and then pull that trigger. I will kind of underline that, though, with that is still a big wombo combo. There are tools. MNM have now given themselves tools to handle it, but it's not like it's completely negated it. They have incredible tools to just snap start a fight, and MNM, their fight is a depth charge or a hook. And they're playing into a Tahm Kench, so...
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think, however, we've seen MNM execute compositions like this. We've also seen them fumble execution comps.
Yeah.
To this. I wouldn't necessarily call this a true execution comp. I think the Cassiopeia definitely band-aids a lot of the scaling. Tristana scales fine as well. I think they've got 2 very strong hyper carries, but like you say, the fear of the wombo combo, the immediacy of, an unstoppable force straight into a move full into set, it can be a bit... I don't even know how to frame it. Speaking of frames, apparently my camera. But yeah, it's very, very hard to play around, especially when, as a champion like Cassio, you're very immobile. You only have flash to work with. Someone like Zonya's is going to have to come in very, very early, even second iron. It wouldn't surprise me. So it can be dealt with.
Wow, you've gone really fuzzy, mate. You've gone really fuzzy.
Working on it.
While you unfuzz yourself, I was just having a quick look at our little document on the outcomes of potential kind of tiebreaker scenarios. There is one scenario where Enclave are going to be tied up with a whole bunch of teams, and there's 2 scenarios where they're going to be tied up with a whole bunch of teams.
I think there's actually a scenario. I know we're talking about scenarios a lot.
Yeah, no, but we have to. Yeah. I'm kind of looking over this, and I'm figuring out.
End up tiebroken today? Can everybody from 2nd to 6th still end up tied today?
Yes. So if Enclave win this game,
or another.
If Enclave envision Bulldog win.
Okay, Jake. It's to do with they'll be tied.
Yeah.
But I don't think a tiebreaker will necessarily have to be played. We'll have to get confirmation.
No. So So just because I'm looking at a sheet that you guys can't see, unfortunately. Yeah. So if Enclave win, Envision win, and Bulldog win, there's a scenario where basically what happens at that point is it's MNM in first. That's always guaranteed. Then it is Enclave, Bulldog, and Envision who are tied from 2nd to 4th. I will have to find out from our admin what the rules are on that particular scenario, but there isn't a scenario where Enclave don't make playoffs if they win this game. That was what I was checking the document for.
Okay.
This game is really important for them because if they win, they're guaranteed to make playoffs.
Yes. Okay. No,
there's not a scenario where they can't make playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is absolutely do or die. I could have sworn I saw one. Maybe I just read. Yeah, I read.
It's a bit scrambled. Alex, you've done an amazing job, but it's a bit scrambled. I'm joking. Don't kill me.
Yeah, no. So Enclave, they win this game, they're in playoffs.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. They will secure themselves a top 4 spot, and we will see them next weekend. If they lose, it's not guaranteed that they won't be in playoffs, but the results have to go their way for them to not have to play a tiebreaker and end up in top 4, or they'll have to play a tiebreaker to not end up in the bottom 6. It actually looks like one of the scenarios here I can see MNM win, Envision win, London win. They all just finish 6th according to this. So that's something that they would have to avoid. If they lose this game, they're going to be Resolve's biggest fan.
Alrighty, well, it looks
you can
like
tell
we have loaded in.
Yeah,
we are filling. Sometimes games take a while to load in, but there were no pauses. It was just a long loading. We're into the Rift for game number 2, and this is possibly the highest stake games of the day. followed up by the second and third highest state games of the day. It's all to play for. Enclave win this and secure playoffs. Where they secure is up in the air, but they secure playoffs at the least. If MNM win this, like you said, Enclave are going to be cheering for Resolve in game number 3 versus Envision.
Yes, indeed they will. And this is a slightly different look to Enclave as well than we've seen in the last couple of weeks in terms of draft. We've seen a lot of Sykes on control majors. We haven't really seen him much on the set. He does have at least one game logged this split. Assuming memory serves me right. I don't always have the stats and the figures and the numbers up because I'm professional.
Me good at job. Me no need stats and numbers.
Yes, me work off brain only. But yes, Enclave winning this game would take off a huge amount of stress from their shoulders leading into the rest of the week. And for MNM, this is very much a not important game for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think they care about who is in playoffs with them, quite frankly. I would imagine they're relatively comfortable playing into a majority of these teams. It's obviously just the format changing into the best of 3.
But to be honest, if you're aiming for first, I don't think you care the placements. Yeah. I think you have to be confident that you can beat all of the teams. So I don't think that's really what MNM are worried about. They have looked like the best team in the league for this split. And it's been a long time since MNM secured themselves first in the regular season. A very, very long time. So
yeah, before my time.
Before your time.
Way before my time.
The last time they won, Frozen Dawn was their coach. So that was the whole tournament, to be fair. But that's to put in perspective how long ago that was. It's been a long time since MNM have taken first. Group stages, I don't think there's been a time since then either, off the top of my head. There's Sykes, just going to punch a snake. Punch that snake quite hard, actually. Woo, yeah. Vango.
That's the thing. Vango actually opted not to trade back into him. Tried to get the distance. He landed a Noxious Blast, but didn't actually send any twin fangs in. So Sykes wins out on that trade pretty hard. Then you can see Sykes, he wants that flash in. Otherwise, you're going to be positioning like this.
He's got the level 3. Vango getting down. Group Miasma there, but the slow's on. He flashes forward and he can't find that additional damage. Vango holds his flash and holds his life. Low health bar though. Sykes now flashless. That makes him susceptible to ganks from Gardonica.
Yeah, and speaking of Gardonica, on the bottom side right now, just spotted out Scumon looking at this Skull Crab, maybe a bottom gank. The Skirmish looks almost ready to break out, but with Joppa being low HP here, seems like they're just going to yield on the Scuttle Crab. Sykes also had mid lane priority, so not willing to flip the early game on that. They're just going to return to farming. And it looks like Aragon's actually going to eat up the top side Skull instead, so at least going to be denying that away from Scumon to make sure there's no double Skull. But Gardonica still going to feel a little bit bad about it, and he's definitely a little bit behind now on not only tempo, but XP and gold.
Yeah, remember when you're on that Diana as well, you want to hit that 6. That's your kind of big ganking tool, coming in with the Moonfall, making it work as Gad now. Maybe looking for something in the mid lane, although it's actually just helping Vango shove the wave. Vango has burnt through pretty much his entire mana pool, so a couple more twin fangs to be able to shove the wave out. As Sykes just going to give Gad a couple of punches. That Haymaker does a lot of damage. Don't mess with the Sykes.
Yep, but still, Vango will have his lane effectively reset, or pushed in entirely. Gardonica will return to finish up his jungle, maybe look at the bottom side, one or the other. But Scumon definitely very, very far up in tempo. You can see he's already finishing up his Krug. His Raptors are spawning in about 10 seconds. Whereas Gardonica, he does have jungle camps to go and fall back onto, but he's still not reset yet. And that could definitely be a big deal when you think
about
he wants.
I think that's it. He's just dead.
Wow. Okay.
Greeted for the wave.
Yeah. That's really not a good look for Sykes to start off the game. Almost solo killed Vango earlier, and then that happens, and now Gardonica on top Scumon.
Yeah, Scumon does have his top laner coming up, but he's also chunked. They're bringing the teleport in. Aragon's going to flash away, and there's no more Lunar Rushes. You got to land that Q first, but Aragon's still being chased down. Sykes is teleported in full flashes, gets the Seismic Shard off. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Joppa's ignited, and Rightly will lick him to secure the kill. Scumon gets a kill on the top side. Clocks able to hook away A lot of action, but Enclave are able to pick themselves 2 kills up around the map. And Sykes teleported in, didn't get the assist there. He's just bleeding resources on the map. And now, Chad Unica is taking away the chicken camp, and there's a snake. There's some spooky boy coming in, and Sykes is looking for the face breaker. Onto 2, got a big shield to work with, and Vango has to flash away, but Vango gets a beautiful petrifying gaze off as Vango now slowed down by the seismic shard. They jump in one more time, and Gad slowed. Gad is on the run, but he's just about able to survive. No, he's not. N4 will send him back to the grey screen.
Indeed, and I think the action on top side, yes. Of course, we just saw Gadanica die, but also Joppa and Klosh has got 2v2 in the bottom side. I can't remember the last time that they just outright lost the 2v2 like that. But if there is a bot lane in the league that can definitely do it, Impulse and Rightly would 100% be my top candidates and have done just that. Now, Aragon's made it back up to the top side and got himself a plate, at the very least, to band-aid it, but certainly a lot of gold swing back and forth here. Sykes used the Haymaker to try and clear out the wave, and with that, Sykes just gets run down. It's very awkward. You see Skumon getting jumped onto by Gadanica. Aragon tries to help out this skirmish, but Skumon is like, wait, he's running into us at 300 HP. The teleport comes down as well. And which means Aragon has to retreat and does get run down eventually. We cut to the bottom side because, well, Joppa and Clock find themselves in a position where they do get 2v2'd. Definitely the biggest surprise out of all of these breakouts across the map so far. The Petrifying Gaze is nice, but unfortunately, Infor teleports in, gets the initial slow, and it is enough to eventually run down Gadanica.
Oh, we're 7 minutes in, and gold lead is in favor of Enclave. Although there's a CS lead building up in the mid side, and Vango with that first blood will have a pretty comfortable lead over Sykes, and kind of those earlier problems of the mana going to be pretty much alleviated now. He's got the Lost Chapter, he's got the tier, 180 stacks on it as well, with the blue buff. Sykes is now going to be well and truly playing underneath his tower and being heavily shoved by Vango. Vango's going to have all the priority here.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't remember the last time I saw a mid laner get handed second blue buff.
Yeah, it's been,
feels like
a long while.
I mean, even me as a jungler, when I was playing solo queue quite frequently for the last 2 years, I just don't give my mid laner second blue buff anymore. It just doesn't feel like the usual etiquette. As this big wave stacking, oh, they're trying to bait the dive here. But instead, Joppa just eats a massive amount of damage from Impulse, and definitely a very creative play. Thought that maybe Rightly and Impulse would take bait. Doesn't happen, and they also lose out on the dragon because of all this priority from the bottom side. Enclave coming out looking pretty strong at the moment. Have to worry about that Cassiopeia, but again, all of these engage options pretty damn strong. And now, they know where Skumon is. They might be able to call clocks up, but take a look at the minimap because Rightly and Impulse also making the rotation up, so they're gonna have to yield the red buff.
Yeah, doesn't look like they'll be giving that one up. Not really anything they can do about that. Skumon's going to take it away, and he's kind of got free roam a little bit over Gadanica after getting that kill and that assist. There's a leader has been built up of 600 in the jungle role mid lane, as expected. It has a lead has been built for Vanguard, so I can speak. But overall, it's not massive. It's not incredibly worrying for the side of MNM. Not like we had in our last game where Viperio were just so far down that the game was doomed from about 8 minutes. This game is definitely still well within MNM's taking, and we know they're a team who are capable of finding these comebacks in these absolutely brilliant team fights. So it's on Enclave to make sure they keep that pressure up.
Yeah, and I think shut down MNM in any way you can. Obviously, Vango would be the main target right now. His flash is coming back up in about 60 seconds or so. So maybe if they can try and attack him in the next minute, they can find that kill. Just try and set Vango a little bit behind. So he is definitely the cause for concern right now on this Cassiopeia. Especially if he's going to be able, to pick up Azonia's earlier stopwatch.
Don't worry, if you haven't tuned in for a while and seen Tom Kench, that's not his ult anymore. That's fine, you can burn that.
Yep. Don't stress about that. Just the basic ability now gives him a nice little knock-up. Definitely helps in some of the trades. I actually think Senna Tom Kench, this new Tom Kench, could be a pretty strong, aggressive, we want to play around bottom side of all this CC.
Yeah.
Because you get the root, the knock-up is pretty guaranteed, and then anything after that should be summoners or death. We saw Godson actually do it, and quite honestly saw a lot of potential in it now.
Ooh.
Gudanica going to be spotted out. Obviously doesn't know that the lane ward is there, but will know by the control ward. So see if he wants to stick around. Scumond isn't in the area at all, so could be something.
Oh, lovely petrifying gaze by Van Gogh, and that's enough just to dissuade Sykes from jumping forward. Scumond going to take out this ward, and Gad's already made his way back to the jungle.
Yeah, but ultimate from Van Gogh saves his life, because if he gets suplexed there at that angle, straight into Scumond, flash or not, probably dies. So real nice read by Van Gogh to keep Sykes off of him. And like you say, Gudanica didn't drop that Herald in the bottom side. He is still hanging around. Scumond still not here, and Teleport's about to come up on Sykes.
They have got that feast. They're going to gobble him up. He gets knocked up. Everything thrown in. Impulse trying to buy some space as Reichly just about busts a shot back, but Impulse, he's not done. Sliding in and securing the kill. Here comes the catfish into the knockup. The Heartbreakers jumped away, and Impulse flashes out as Scumond slides in and secures the kill. Van Gogh's teleported in as well. There's the Moonfall onto 2 members as they got a lockdown. They've got the damage to work with, and Clocks is able to get away.
Right.
Sykes is coming in. Knock up from the catfish goes a little bit wide, and Enclave just turned the play around. MNM get demolished in the bot lane as Sykes, he's not done. He's flashing, he's showstoppering, he's got the shield, he's gonna get the damage as the snake is not gonna get sniped today. And MNM just about saved those 2 members as Aragon Dominus is to clear out the wave in the bot side.
I have no idea why Aragon has teleported down here. Not sure if there was some kind of miss, maybe felt like Enclave were all gonna commit. And the comms were just to bring in that teleport, but Enclave absolutely mechanically remove MNM from the bottom lane. Quite frankly, they go for the play, and Impulse and Reichly just play it out near perfectly. To be totally honest with you, Impulse dashes back in, finds the execution on Joppa too. Great stuff.
No. Scumon's coming in. Joppa's actually going to take a lot of damage here, but charge from Herald. Shelly won't kill the tower, and Joppa gets a bunch of gold. That tower's low now.
Yeah, tower is low. And we see what MNM can do in an open map, but take a look at this depth charge, blocked out. Impulse doesn't get hit by that, but the return damage onto Joppa is absolutely massive. The rocket jumps out, but Killer Instinct wasn't used until right then. The Joppa dies. The knockup also stops Gudanica from getting any crucial auto attacks onto Impulse or even onto Reichly himself. And he's flashed away from the Heartbreaker too, so doesn't end up giving the reset over. And even though Van Gogh teleports down here, puts a nice amount of damage back in, it's not quite enough to find any return kills. And eventually Sykes gets the flash ultimate, isn't quite able to actually pick up Van Gogh. But I think the fact that the dredge line came in and dragged Sykes towards Van Gogh, the flash, I don't think he flashed out the true damage portion of the Haymaker. I think he still got hit by it.
Still pretty close.
Yeah, either way, still pretty close. Now, MNM, within the span of that replay, managed to claw the gold back from what was almost a 3,000 gold deficit somehow. However,
I think that gold might be growing a little bit. Impulse starts up by taking the tower, and Impulse just jumps in with the Killer Instinct. 300 gold in his pockets and plates to boot as well. And Sykes should be able to hold this tower. I don't think it's going down. But Van Gogh may be able to find the top lane tower as a response. The first Tower of Blood very much won the cards here for the side of MNM. And they may get plates as well, top side.
Yeah, definitely. So I think they should be able to take down this tower. It's going to be pretty close. There's a lot of armor and resistance on that tower, as you can see. And Cassiopeia, not the best tower taker. However, they will find it. So gold, only 600 between them, despite the fact that Enclave have found so many positive fights back to back, and they've taken a lot of plates. They will, of course, grow this gold lead back out again with this tower onto Impulse, who is 1,000, and I believe it's going to be about 600 with this tower going into his back pocket.
Waiting for the wave to die as well.
Yeah. Doing the correct thing there, as there you go. About that is the difference between Joppa and Impulse in gold right now. Looking across the board as well, Van Gogh is the other one, making up a big gap between him and his lane opponent, 1,500 in it there. But across the board, only a couple hundred, give or take, everywhere else. Not too many major leads.
Gold lead is close. Considering how well Enclave have been playing the fights and the skirmishing, MNM have been able to answer out elsewhere. They've been able to take tower plates, they've been able to take towers themselves. They've found a good way of keeping themselves in this game and the gold relevant. And, you know, that's not what Enclave wanted. They were playing proactive to put MNM behind, but MNM, they're so creative in finding these angles to pull themselves, you know, into a point where they remain relevant, even in the face of a pretty rough early game.
Yeah, because again, despite what I would call 100% losing the early game, if I'm honest with you, by MNM standards, they still find themselves at no real major item disadvantage across the board somehow.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely crazy to think about. Everybody is on mythics on the side of MNM. Technically, they've got a mythic more, a first item more completed in comparison to M4. Who, of course, M4, bit of a detour, has the Bramble Vest, so a slightly unfair comparison, but still, point still kind of stands.
Well, Riftel's been started up by Gad, and Enclave, they are not willing to give this one up. Half health, and it's cooled off. They've got the vision to work with. Skumon's going to do his best just to take out some of these wards. There is that one in the red buff if a flank ward was available, though Aragon doesn't have teleport, and Vango, even though teleport's coming up soon, I don't think you want to flank on the cast.
No.
As Sykes is now, it's his job to deal with Aragon. This is a rough one because he can't W. Okay, now he can W.
Now he can.
Although he's going low, gets the showstopper off, gets the slam, the flash from the true damage, and I think, Sykes, that might be you done, friend. Oh, wait, what?
No.
Wait, what?
Cooldowns on Aragon were still coming back up, so they didn't have another Ruthless Predator or a Cold Meek to heal up.
Man,
Aragon
set's so broken.
I
know you're trying to be smart about it, but the long and short is set's broken. What the hell was that?
Short, set's a little busted. Let's get that out of the way. Aragon, he doesn't save the W for the shield, but quite frankly, he also doesn't really auto him or deal any damage to him whilst he's got the Haymaker shield up. He kind of waits it out. As you can see, he's going to flash away from the true damage after the slam. But it just goes back into the bush. The auto resets as well from sight. It's just a lot of damage. Aragon probably wasn't expecting that to come out as well. I mean, definitely have to say, if he waits a couple seconds, he might find that kill. Now, they will take this mid-tier 1. So the gold again, traded back, keeping it a little bit over 1,000. 1,300, the gold difference at the moment. Which you definitely have to credit MNM, but Enclave, what can they do to continue to keep MNM at bay and keep their playoff hopes effectively within their control, right? Again, remember, stakes. They win this game, they're in playoffs. They can't not be in playoffs if they win this game here. And I think right now, the person on your screen, Impulse, he is the person that Enclave have to put resources into to try and make sure that MNM can't pull off anything sneaky, as they have so many times before this split, and honestly last split as well.
Oh, Dragon coming up in 50 seconds time. That'll be the third one for the side of Enclave if they can get it.
Yeah.
Tower in the mid lane, pretty low but not down. MNM, they have been able to down that tower, which means, as you can see, the wave has been caught in a pretty further back position. Obviously, Impulse was in base. He's finished up his Phantom Dancer, so he has got a full item over Jopper, unless Jopper's going to be able to finish it up on the base time.
We'll have to see. I don't feel like Jopper's got that much gold to be able to finish up.
I don't think he's, unless he is being giga farming and not spending.
Yeah, it's just hidden gold that we've not seen. No, he is.
No, he hasn't got Phantom Dancer for this fight, which is going to be big, you know. If they can keep Impulse alive, and they've got the tools to do so because of rightly, he can do a lot.
Fight.
No, they can't.
I think they're just going to yield it, but there's nothing to really cross-map. That's the issue. They can, at best, angle for this top tier 2, but I just don't know whether they're even going to have the time, because Enclave, they're going to recognize no one's really pressuring them, so can send people back to base. You can see Tom Kench already back in base. Sykes also returned already. And no one's actually helping Aragon to hit this tower. So he might not get it. It's going to be pretty close.
It's going to be very, very close. Rightly's coming in, but the tower should just go down as Gad's there to zone them away. It's a tower gain there for MNM, and these ones are worth that big extra gold, so it's things like this that have kept MNM relevant in the gold department. But 5 minutes now until that soul comes up, and that's when it gets even scarier. Skumon, Proto belts in, gets the Moonfall, the flash comes out from Jopper, and he's able to survive. No marks for Impulse to dive in onto, and with a wave that small, I don't think Impulse is going to be able to finish this tower up. So tier 1 stands in the mid lane still. Even so, as here comes the Catfish, Rightly just goes for a quick swim.
From the river, his home of operations, into the mid lane now. Impulse going to be ulted here. Rightly's trying to gobble him up, but...
Yeah, but they can't get in range, and Sykes is able to get away. The Miasma goes down, and the Petrifying Gaze hits no one, but Vango's got the damage, the shield, the gobble, and Sykes will survive.
That's so funny. I've never seen that interaction. We don't see a lot of Tom Kench on stage just yet. But Sykes tried to wind up the Haymaker, interrupted by the Devour. It's cool to know. But yeah, engage thwarted by Enclave. MNM again, you know, only really working with Nautilus as the true form of hard engage. The follow-up can certainly be there. Enclave a lot of disengage.
But now you got to keep in mind, it's MNM that have to play reactive. They have to play safe. They burnt their flashes. They burnt some ultimates there. No flash on Vango and Jopper, and they are your core 2 members for team fighting. So MNM gonna have to play a little bit more calm now until at least that Petrifying Gaze comes back. It is on a pretty short cooldown. It's Leandri's build, so do you get that additional ability haste from that Crystal Scepter as well due to your Mythic? But this tower should full heal, though they don't have the ready carry. It's still going to go down.
Still going to be enough. Interestingly, Vango.
Oh, good interrupt.
Interrupted.
Flash comes out, and that's now Clock's now flashless.
Yeah, absolutely. Does have the Hex Flash, so, you know, a little less egregious for Nautilus to not have Flash, but the ability to not be able to just flash in front of someone's face, do Nautilus stuff. It does still limit your options nonetheless. Enclave, full control of this top side here. MNM, they're trying to weasel their way in. But if anyone steps a little bit too far forward, yeah, someone could definitely get popped. But interestingly enough, Vango going with the Rylai second. Obviously, it is a Cassio into a lot of short range champions, so being able to keep people in range, certainly not a bad pickup overall. But you have to wonder about the context of the game. You've got
if you keep them in, you keep them in range to deal but damage. Also keep them out of range from hitting you. It's
yeah,
nice
like
in that sense.
The thing, yeah, but the thing is, Zhonya's having to or being able to finish up, you know,
you're right.
your tier item as well. Because don't forget, Archangels, or rather the Aceris Embrace upgrade, gives you so much AP. It's like 120 off the item alone.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And with that tier stacked up, it's very, very impactful. But he's not going to have it for a little while, especially with the Codex in his inventory. It says to me that he's likely going to be going towards the Zhonya's next.
We're seeing both teams leaning their vision into this Baron area. Obviously, no Dragon for 2 minutes, so neither team wants to set up for Baron or Dragon and then see the Baron go down. So they are just chilling and waiting for that one. Reset's coming in from Impulse, although he cancels it. Got that BF in the inventory. The Phantom Dance has been finished, but Impulse does remain ahead in that area as the Crab gets secured. So Enclave now do have some vision towards this Dragon Pit to kind of, you know, at least play around with for the Soul spawning up in 1 minute 30. I think they're looking to try and get these kind of big final bases in for this Dragon, because this could be a bit of a game-breaking Dragon. Stopwatch gets picked up and a ward for Impulse. No Zhonya's for Skumond yet, though.
Nope. No Zhonya's for Skumond. Has the control ward in his inventory taking up that last slot with the Dark Seal. A bit of a Build-A-Bear, just because Skumond, the Ulma, it's so easy to apply the anti-heal, so you will see quite a few Dianas actually pick up the Morello, or just in this case, the Oblivion Orb. But Impulse with that Stopwatch, watch out for that. Because being able to dive in and then go golden is such a powerful tool. Or they might face check into Vango. MNM, I think they're trying to call people over, but not going to be in time to make that play happen. But it's Enclave with the control of the Dragon. It can be very game-breaking. There are so many frontliners on Enclave. This is genuinely a pretty high-value Ocean Soul, because there, in theory, isn't a lot of burst damage from MNM. There's a lot of consistent damage.
Yes. Well, in for posturing for that engage. He jumps in, he misses it! Death Charge lands onto Skumond, and Skumon's on the Losum, gobbled up as they do get the damage off, and it's just a front-to-back fight. Aragon jumps in, Skumond launches into the middle of everyone, and Impulse able to jump away as Reichly looks for the knock-up, and now he doesn't have the dash. Clocks, all he has to do is land that hook, and he lands it onto the Catfish. Enclave trying to see if they can find a turnaround. Nobody is going to go down. That was a bit of a slug, but they got the teleports, they've got the resets, and they're going to look to rejoin. A massive whiff of an engage, but they're coming in, and Dragon not willing to give up here as the Miasma could just zone them away. The Dragon should get secured, but they are not done. They are looking for the knockup. A two-man knockup comes in from Reichly, but he's going to go down instantly, and Cox is next up on the menu. The slide, the glide, the damage is coming in from Aragon, and Enclave are crumbling. They are falling apart at the seams as Impulse flashes away, but the shutdown is there for Vango, and MNM will take the fight.
They'll take the fight, even though for the entirety of this game, they've been behind from pretty much the get-go. It's been the get-go they've been behind. Enclave have actually kind of pressured MNM ridiculously. We haven't seen the team really do it. But it all comes down to this soul point fight, or the soul fight for Enclave, rather. And they crumble. It's a nice initial kind of skirmish in the mid lane. but it all comes down to the river itself. We'll get the replay here of where it all starts. And Infor, he's looking for Vango because he knows he is the target, but he misses. And as soon as he misses, it's already going to be a fight that goes awry for Enclave in one way or another. Aragon buys so much time in the back line, but you can see Sykes as well. He doesn't really manage to find lethal onto Aragon himself or onto Gdanica, who he's diving. The hook here, kind of whatever, they're able to disengage, but it's the river. The next portion of this fight where Rightly just steps a little bit too far forward, and crucially, he gives Gdanica the resets. And as soon as he gives Gdanica the resets, it's also kind of a soft go sign for Joppa to try and put out as much damage as he can as well. They find the catfish, he gets reset on. It doesn't matter that they lose clocks because look at Vango as well, untouched in the Dragon Pit. From there forward, Gdanica Joppa can just go on a bit of a rampage. Of course, Vango picks up the shutdowns there too. And that soul being denied away from Enclave is absolutely massive. And we said, MNM, you know, thematically, characteristically, they're normally drafting early to mid-game team compositions. This is kind of the opposite to that, in a way, because we've got Cassiopeia and Tristana in the same game. Yes, Trista's snowbally champion, but when paired up with someone like Cassio isn't now. Enclave, they're looking for this pick because they have to try and make something happen, but MNM, they're in the area.
Yeah, they are indeed. They are coming in. Vango loses a lot of health. Infor gets caught out by the hook, and there's the petrifying gaze. But Rightly comes in with a knock-up, and Impulse is sliding in forward. Vango gonna get slammed, and the Moonfall almost finishes him up. The shield damage is there. This fight is an absolute cluster, but MNM have the healthier health bars as they jump in underneath the tower. They're trying to find that additional damage, but Impulse is very firing away. Double kill has already been picked up from Tristana, and the shield from Sykes is buying some space. The Gore Drinker heal is huge, and the tower shot will almost finish it up as Impulse is trying to find that little bit of extra damage. It's a 2 versus 2 to right and finish this game off, but it looks like neither team are going to be able to finish up and find the full ace. That was unbelievably close.
I'm really wondering, what's Vango doing? On the bottom side, just taking tower shots for no reason, puts him in such a compromising position. Teleport comes down, Vango gets knocked up, and for Enclave, it's all about locking down the snake. They eventually do pick him up. I'm not sure who even gets the kill credit. Aragon managed to take down Scumond amongst all of this, and Gdanica in the backline is resetting. They managed to pick up Rightly, and from this moment, I'm saying, okay, maybe they can continue going on forward. But it's all of this true damage return from Set immediately. Just
2 people.
It's so ridiculous sometimes. Impulse, Sykes not able to chase down the remaining members of MNM, but if he isn't able to get that Haymaker off, I have to question whether Enclave just get clean ace, then MNM can push through the bottom side for a little bit more.
And there's the Infinity Edge finished up for Impulse as well on that base. Want to see something to kind of cut through this front line now. Really need that Lord Doms. Joppa has actually built his own Lord Doms, is recognizing that this is very, very traditional team fighting from both teams in this.
It's very front to back. And not only that, Enclave, they're working with more tanks, so Lord Doms makes a lot more sense in that regard, as opposed to IE, whereas Impulse, you go to IE here because realistically you're looking for assassination attempts. You're looking for, you know, dives onto Vango after he's used key abilities or doesn't have the flash, things of that nature. Rightly tries to find Aragon, not going to make the knock-up connect.
I want to see a much better warding job here from the side of Enclave.
Yeah.
50 seconds until that soul spawns, and these fights have been close. A soul, Ocean Soul, can make such a big difference here for the amount of sustain they've got now. Differences from the last time these two scrapped around this dragon. Impulse, no stopwatch. That has been burnt. Scumond does have his Zhonya's finished up, so they do have that to work with as well.
Vango doesn't have flash this time around. He's the only member of MNM without that summoner spell. Clocks obviously has the Hex Flash, so a little bit different for him. Enclave, though, this time around, you can tell they're posturing so heavily. They're completely shielded MNM out of the river here via the vision. You can see, thank you, Observer, for highlighting it so briefly. They want MNM to check into them.
Infor has to land this as Gad gonna get zoned away. Aragon's popped the Dominus, and Enclave, they can just buy the time here. Walk away, wait out the Dominus. Crocodile, not as scary now. Basically burnt for free. It's about to wear off as well. The front to back looks to break out. Impulse is trying to find a Void Seeker onto Vango just to pop that spell shield, and then Infor, that's the go button.
Yeah, look for Infor. With that Banshee's Veil up, it blocks out so much engaged potential. Dragon started up. Looking to try 50-50. If Vango loses that Banshee's Veil, that will be the go button for Enclave.
Yeah, they're going to get the miasma. They're going to get the slam down. Multiple members called in already. As Aragon's jumped in onto that backline. They're going to finish him up first before they can turn it around. Shutdown's been picked up. As the hook from Clock lands in. The Petrifying Gaze is blocked out as Impulse has to do all this work on his lonesome, and he can't do it. MNM take the team fight. Vango gets the double kill. And the value of the Banshees, the value of the Cassiopeia is absolutely enormous this game.
Yeah, from this fight, MNM, they're posturing as if they're trying to end, but that dragon is still up on the map. I think, yeah, right call, send Van Gogh back to the dragon. No, they're very indecisive right now. They're trying to decide how much time they realistically have. Van Gogh trotting back and forth. He's eventually going to make his way back to this dragon. But I mean, Sykes, Infort, they've got teleport.
They do.
Just about going to be able to crack open the space. I think we might see a teleport coming from one of the Enclave bot.
I think it's too soon. He does it too quick.
Late now. Too late now, yeah. Okay, definitely though, you could see, even MNM themselves, they're a bit jittery right now. They don't exactly know who and what to commit to post some of these fights. And so far, it has just been Impulse versus the world. With Enclave, they've got the front line, like we were highlighting. It's all about that Banshees Veil. They can't pop it. Without being able to pop it, it just makes the engage opportunities so much harder. And I hit on, maybe Zhonya's is the option, but quite frankly, the Banshees is so obnoxious. The miasma stops Info from following up, and Sykes buys a lot of time, and so does Aragon, but crucially, the hook onto Impulse, it forces the Devour, and Godanica also had Sykes' set form stolen away, so the reshot opportunities were just there.
I'll be honest with you, Gerardo.
Yeah.
The miasma actually wasn't even necessary for him. He just got bursted during the Nautilus CC. Like, he just did not have the sustain.
Okay, Enclave on the Baron.
They're going to do it very quickly. They're going to do it very quickly, and MNM are pretty hesitant to move in. Baron secured. That was just a freebie.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, then. Well, we'll have to see what can be achieved with this Baron. It is a little bit off tempo with things like this next dragon spawning up. There is a fair amount of towers left up on the map. You've got the top tier one, got the all of the tier twos for Enclave to take. But I think crucially, the realistic thing to talk about is the fact that it denies it away from MNM.
Yeah,
because they've won out on the most recent skirmishes. Giving that Baron over could have probably been one of the final nails in the coffin. I beg your pardon.
And things like this are really big for Enclave because they are down in gold. They're starting to get to the point where these dragons are getting less and less relevant as Skumon actually interrupts Aragon on the reset and comes in for the Moonfall. Jumper decides just to cancel, not even cancel the call, as here comes Rightly to make sure Skumon is not going to go down. The shield is going to go up from the Sterix, and Skumon's just buying time, buying space as Impulse slides in and secures himself the kill. Another one on to your Kaiser. And they just got themselves the kill onto the Renekton. 40 seconds of Aragon being down and 4 members bot side. I think we might see a siege towards the bottom lane here.
Yeah.
Curious to see what Impulse makes his next item to be, because I don't know.
All right, well,
oh, Rightly, that wasn't the Banshee's pot. There's the Petrifying Gaze. Impulse unable to do too much here. He's trying to get the damage onto Gad as Clocks is also going low. Not able to find that additional damage to Gad. His shield's used and Impulse is trying to get the shield procced, but the slows are so big and the charge comes in from Info. The gobble by Rightly saves the life of Impulse, and here comes Sykes. They flash forward and Impulse is trying to bite the space, and the Heartbreaker is going to be enough to find the kill. Sykes able to get another one. Here comes the knockup. Here comes Rightly. They get the showstopper slam down, and Sykes will not take Gad's shield. The GA is popped while he's in as the hook comes down. Sykes, can they do this? Rightly gets the slow, the pullback, and Sykes continues to try and kill Gad. The catfish is interrupted. He's on the hook. He's on the net. In the bag you go. The fisherman finds the kill, and Sykes puts the crab up as the crocodile runs him down, and in comes Gad with the Chad form. The Heartbreaker comes down, and this will be Sykes trying to find the turnaround. He's going to be able to run away from now. His jungler is back alive. Clocks is just going to look to jump over the wall with a Hex Flash. No, he's not. He's reset. And Sykes,
let him go,
Sykes is out of there.
Let him go.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Godanica.
The teleports are coming in. They're bringing the back up, and Sykes is looking to turn it around. But the completely fumbles. That might just be it. That might just be the game for MNM. As Enclave, they bit off more than they could chew. Impulse is alive.
Oh no.
And they might be able to hold the game for now, but god damn, that was a comedy of errors.
Oh my god. I don't want to replay of that. I don't. It's too long. It's too long. It's too long. Quite frankly. Don't
Observer
give it to
agrees.
us. Quite frankly, MNM might just end on this push. They've got all 5 members. Sykes and Info are such crucial components of making these team fights work. The Banshee's Veil is going to come up in about 15 seconds for Vango as well. They've got all 5 members here. MNM should be able to close out.
All it takes is one good petrifying gaze. He catches it onto Impulse, but Impulse is going to be going oh so low. Rightly comes in with the gobble, only keeping him alive at the moment. Impulse jumps away to safety. He's still alive. The tower's already gone down. Skumon, no Moonfall available, and he's caught out by the Heartbreaker. Impulse on his lonesome. Sykes is here. They put the Miasma down. They're on to the Nexus. They're on to the close. Enclave. They are going to be absolutely massive fans of Resolve after this loss as MNM close out the regular season on a win.
All right, well, MNM will end out on a win. Enclave, however, is who we have to talk about in this one, because with that loss, they now have to rely on Resolve Academy, and in a lot of worlds, additionally, I believe Bulldog to also win.
Yeah.
It's not a nice feeling. I'll tell you that. Playoff contention being out of your hand for the remainder of the day. You now have to sit here. You can't relax. You have to watch the final 2 games to see whether or not all of this hard work is going to have paid off. It's not a nice feeling, but I think they can still walk away happy with how they contested against MNM. Because quite frankly, I think MNM did a very good job to keep themselves very competitive, despite Enclave consistently winning out on skirmishes in the early game against our best early game team.
Okay. I don't think that game is, Enclave messing up. Sure, there were mistakes. There were mechanical mistakes in team fights, but I think Enclave actually played that game very well. I just think MNM, that was, if anything, just a display of how strong this team is, because they fell behind, they got punished, but actually they didn't fall behind. They were just using skirmishes. They were finding gold up on the other sides of the map, and then they fought on their terms when they were ready to do so. Beautiful stuff. Anyway, we're going to throw to a break, and when we're back, we're actually going to talk to their top laner, Aragon, about that game and about the split in general, so we'll see you in a moment.
All I